and today we're talking about trimming petunias. So we've got some leggy petunias in our greenhouses.
Look at that. Look how tall they are.
Yeah. Yep.
That's because they're all growing upward and then they're balancing on each other.
Yes.
Otherwise they would start falling down.
So there's two reasons that you would trim petunias, and the first reason is to control growth, and that is what we are going to do. Is these petunias are growing so fast and we're not ready for them yet, so we're gonna control some of that growth. The other reason is to promote growth. So you might want to trim petunias early on in the season, maybe once, maybe twice, to promote growth and really give it that full look that you're looking for summer. So these are easy wave petunias, and they're getting out of hand. We have all kinds in the back here that you can see in our greenhouse, and it's time. So it's time to give these a haircut and control that growth.
So let's say why they are doing this in our greenhouse.
Mm-hmm. So when petunias get leggy, it is a symptom. So these are competing against each other. They're in cell packs, and they're fighting, and they're kind of stretching towards that sun, and they're competing against each other. So they have to grow way up, real tall and lanky. We want them nice and full. So we're going to go through and just cut right down on this.
People are going to have a problem.
Oh, I know. They're like, oh, don't do it. It's actually really good for them at this point in the game here. So they're going to fill out, and it buys us like a week or two to control that growth until we're ready to plant these into hanging baskets, or to put them out for sale. So we're just not ready yet for these.
So if the customers are purchasing them and they're tall and lanky like this,
absolutely, I would go through and give a haircut. What does that look like? Well, simply, and please, you can bring yourself to do this. You're not harming the plant. It doesn't have to be anything precision or surgical. You can go through, and why don't you pull out one of the cells for me? If I'm going into the greenhouse and I'm buying a few of these wave petunias, and what does that look like? I've got my dram shears right here. These work really slick for just going through, and I kind of like to go for where that tag is on the pack, and I just go right above there. So just cut her right down.
Ouch.
I know, it's just really going to bug some people, but for now, this is really going to help promote this growth and get rid of that real tall, lanky foliage, and it's going to fill out. So now, when I go to plant this, it shouldn't have competition, so it should be able to kind of grow out laterally, and that's what we want. We want this to absolutely go through and fill in and make a nice wave petunia. Because
when we're growing them, of course, they're in these small cells. So they're not meant to stay in something this small.
Right.
So once you plant this, that's going to really spread out nicely.
So whether it's in a container or a hanging basket, that's where they're going to be, and then let them fill out.
So your question might be, and you can also just break it off with your fingers. I mean, there's really three options. You can break it off with your fingers. You can take a little shears and cut it. Or you can be dramatic.
Yes, so.
Because we don't have time in the greenhouse to sit and hand snip every single one. We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. So I'm going to move out of the way.
Guess what we've got here? We've got the hedge trimmer, and yes, this is actually how we do it in the greenhouses. I'm just going to fire this up, and this flat of petunias, I'm going to just go right across. Again, kind of right above where that tag is, and I'm going to come this way, actually. That's all it takes, and we'll do that very quickly. As Amy said, there's hundreds of flats of these sitting in our greenhouse. We don't have the time to go through and snip and be real careful. We do it fast, and that is going to buy us a little bit of time until we're ready to plant these.
It doesn't look like much, and so we try to sell them with the blooms on, but we will go through like 3/4 of them and do this.
Yes.
A lot of our customers who think we're just absolutely crazy and then tried it. They're like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, it turned out so much
Oh, yeah.
thicker and fuller.
Once they understand what that does and how it helps for promoting that growth, we're controlling the growth, but it's going to help promote growth too. So now they look like sticks for a little bit, and it's probably going to only be maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks.
I love seeing them like this.
But they heal themselves, and all of a sudden it just starts exploding with that lateral growth. So we're gonna go through and start feeding right away with the Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer. That's gonna give the plants the nutrients to elevate that growth and to start producing blooms again. So that's gonna give basically the recovery much faster. So we're gonna probably feed these. If I were at home and I was doing this, I'm probably going to feed them at least twice a week with the Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer. That way it just speeds up that process.
Not stronger.
Yep, just
more
frequent.
frequent.
more often.
And then what happens when somebody they plant it, we've done this, they either see that we've done it or they're going to do it at home, and then they say, oh, I've been doing this to my plants like 3-4 times a year.
Right. So, and I just had several customers say that to me in the greenhouse, and they're like, yeah, so I should be taking my hanging baskets and trimming them back, 4, 5, 6 times throughout the summer. And I'm like, whoa, time out. Okay, so once, maybe twice early on in the season, springtime, because we want to kind of control that growth and then promote it. But if you're going into the summer, when those hanging baskets or those planters should look absolutely stunning and spectacular, and they should be full, if you're trimming back Leggy Petunias, that's a symptom. So you have to ask yourself, okay, what's wrong? Well, and it could be several things. So, and we have to figure out why. Now, again, we're going back to why were they stretching so much in the greenhouses? Because of competition for sunlight. So your petunia hanging baskets could be competing for sunlight, like they're not in the right spot. They're not getting enough sunlight, so they're stretching out. It could be poor soil, poor quality soil. It could be that you're not feeding them enough. It could be that they're not getting watered properly, that you're just being real flippant about the watering, and you're just watering whenever you feel like it, instead of that daily care that they're dry, they need to be watered today, instead of going 3-4 days of they're going and stressing from being way too dry, way too wet, way too dry, way too wet. The plants are going to react to that. They're going to stress out, and that's what you're seeing. So it can be any number of those things or a combination of all the above. And so that's what you need to figure out. So again,
and the easiest way to do that is start with the most basic ones.
Yeah, I have my watering correctly. Mm-hmm. Okay, great, fantastic. Now we can move on. Or they're in the right spot. They're in full sun, or they're getting at least 4 to 6, 6 maybe plus hours a day of sunshine. Okay, good. That's correct. Then you can kind of eliminate what it is, and you're going to have to, if your petunia hanging baskets or whatever are leggy, you have to go back and look at what are you not doing, or are they in the wrong spot, and start eliminating that process of this is why they're doing that. They should look awesome. Your neighbors should be like, oh my goodness, your hanging baskets look gorgeous. If they don't, go back to the drawing board and figure out why.
So why don't we end with you just cutting another one, because
okay,
because we always get the cringe from that, and we'll just end with that, and we hope you have a great rest of the day.
Yes. All right. Say goodbye to petunias. They're going to look great.
Have a good day.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.